Last episode we built this podium and Olympic Flame and began planning out the different builds that will be here in the Gaming District Hub. Now since then I did get a little bit carried away and I've worked on all 6 buildings. Now they are just empty shells at the moment, but I am happy with how they look. So now let's walk around and I will talk you through the details. This will be the attention-grabbing, eye-catching notice board. So anytime we've got like an event or a new game or something like that, we will have that here. Back here we will have the rules, which we want everybody to read. So that's why the first thing you see is both of those things. Now if we turned around, we could go to the portals to go to where the actual games are. But let me take you up these stairs here. So last episode, as I mentioned in the introduction, we built this podium area with the stone around, and we also built this Olympic Flame. Now, I do want to add to this in a little bit, but first, let me walk you through these different buildings here. So this first building here, this dark one, this is just going to be for lockers. So there's going to be lots of storage in here, there's going to be beds, and basically whenever we run an event, players will be able to come here, drop off all of their gear, set their spawn, and that sort of thing. In retrospect, it didn't need to be this big, but we'll be able to have, 2 floors of storage, 2 floors of beds, that sort of thing. And I think we can make the inside of this look quite nice. Yeah, it's a very simple build. The next one is this one. Now, it does make me laugh just how silly and thin this looks. Oh, I see a trapdoor that's not correct over there. But yeah, this one's a simple build. This is basically my storage here in Willy World. The logic with this is I don't need much space. Right now I've been doing a lot of building, so I've got all these shulkers. I will tidy these up and have like a general kind of blocks storage and things that I may need for events, anvils for naming items and stuff like that. Mostly this will be fairly simple. I will probably have a second layer, maybe even a third layer in here, which will be open to players, and I'll talk about why in a little bit. But for now, this will just be my storage. I might not even have a door on the front. I might just make it so that I've got to, mine the blocks to get in. But yeah, that's why that one's quite a simple build and quite a small build. This one here is the team events building, I will say. So you'll notice we've gone for the 4 colours here on the front. I tried to make the front of each build a little bit different. So you can see here we've kind of got, it kind of comes out a little bit. This one was kind of based on a Tudor building. This is just a simple build. And then again, we kind of went for a Tudor build here, but on the front, I wanted this to be more like a shop front, just to give a little bit of variety as you're walking through. But I opted for the 4 colours here because there are a couple of different ways that we have team-based events here. We may end up getting some guests visiting the server to play some games, in which case they will be split into 4 teams, and we will use this building to have like a team selector and have their gear and stuff like that. And last season I also did a games league where I split the server into 4 teams, and people came along and competed in minigames against another team. So this building won't be used right now, but it's nice to have there in case we need it in the future. Over here we have the museum. This will be a place where we record the results of every event. So we've got an event coming. Actually, by the time this is released, the event will have already gone. But we will end up with a gold, silver and bronze and like a list of participants, and we'll put something here to memorialise that event. This next build here is the gift shop. Now, it's not really going to work like a shop, but basically players will be able to come here and deposit items that are relevant to events or pom-poms or things like that. I can't think of many ideas right now, but the server is welcome to come up with ideas, named t-shirts, that sort of thing. And they can all be stored in here and given away to the players. So after this event, maybe someone will want to create some kind of "I took part in this event" t-shirt or something like that, or a play ahead maybe. And that can go in here. And lastly, we have another storage. This is going to be more of a community storage building. So the idea here is that for minigames, there's a lot of resources like food, for example, where you can sometimes end up needing an awful lot for your game. Or maybe it's a game where a lot of iron gear is used. So like every round, 8 full sets of iron gear fall into lava or something like that. Just a random example. But basically, this is a place where people can donate to the storage anything that might be useful for minigames. So personally, I think I'm going to deliver some like punch books and knockback books, because I think punch and knockback enchantments are infinitely usable for minigames. So that is it for these 6 buildings. I do want to add more to the outside of these buildings as well. One of which is a lot of balloons. I think it will look nice in this area to look kind of, celebratory, to have lots of balloons. And I might use different coloured balloons in front and around of each building. I tried to make each of these buildings look very distinct and unique. So you see this one's got a very, it reminds me a bit of an old bank building, maybe. You got the ones that are a bit more kind of Tudor in their design, but this has, the grand staircase at the beginning. All the roofs are different colours. I really tried to mix it up. But I still think if there's like a colour balloon that is specific to each building, maybe we could even have the balloons down here and it says something like, to get to the lockers, follow the pink balloons, and then we can just have some pink balloons around here, maybe some pink balloons leading up to it, and that just gives players another kind of useful way to guide them around here. Because I do appreciate if you're a new player and you just pop out here, this could be quite overwhelming. I want the focus to be on the attention board and the rules, but seeing all of these buildings behind here, coming up this grand staircase up the side, and then, this square surrounded by buildings and features, I could see that being a little bit overwhelming. So some kind of key of things to follow if you want to find a specific thing. I think that will be useful. But that idea with the balloons serves another function as well, because I want people to be able to parkour on the balloons. And I want people to be able to parkour all around this place. I have kind of a vision and a dream of this area that we could actually use it as a game arena for something like hide and seek or tag. I've been watching a lot of the Mario Odyssey hide and seek, where they end up chasing each other around the map for half an hour. And I would love to have some kind of game like that in Minecraft. And this area might work in a small way for that type of thing. But let me demonstrate one of my ideas here. So imagine we've got some stairs up to the 2nd floor. This will have 2 floors. I have actually kept the windows open here. So you can see here, we are actually able to parkour. Well, we can at least parkour one way. So if we want to go back, we can actually extend the trapdoor there and we can go both ways. So you can see here, we've got some parkour elements. I fell again. We've got some parkour elements, which I think are fun. And so you can go from one room to another. I've left those open as well. And if I just... Now this one here is a bit tricky because you actually have to open this first, then open this, then jump and close this, then close this, and now you're in crawl mode. That kind of gives you a taste of how we can parkour around here. I do also want to have like ladders that are up here and hay bales that you can drop down on. I want the rooms to have a lot of decorations as well and things to hide in and hide behind. So I really want this to be a fun place to run around. I tried to make it so that you could jump along the roofs as well. If I take off my wings, you can see that I can jump to this roof, and then obviously I can jump to this roof. And then maybe there would be some balloons down here that I can jump around on. I might also do some kind of bunting chains that are dangling between the streets or streetlights or something like that, or maybe just loads of balloons in the sky so that we can jump around between the two sides as well. Maybe we have some feature in the middle that connects up, like a fountain or a tree or something like that, but I'm not sure I want to obscure the view of the podium from the square down here. So I'm thinking we might just do benches and things like that, little bushes maybe, all the way down here. So there's a lot to do inside these buildings, but I'm not really in too much of a rush to get that sorted now. I do want to prepare the Olympic Flame though, because we will need that for the event tomorrow. And I do want to show you my idea for how this will work. So if we look up here, you can see I've placed some glass here. And if I place this here, you will see what the idea is. This is how we will light the Olympic Flame, or the Zedlympic Flame. It fills out nicely. I think it looks quite impressive from a distance, all from one source as well. But I want to figure out a way to light this in like a ceremony. So imagine we've got a bunch of players down here and Zedaf is walking through. I want him to be able to approach the Olympic Flame and do something, and then it triggers a dispenser that shoots the lava out. Now, if you look inside here, you can see that I have made it all very transparent, because from a distance, I want it to look like there's nothing there. You know, I want it to look like an empty bowl that has not been ignited yet. So I don't really want too much in the center here. But if we have a dispenser here, and I'm wondering, could we do something as simple as some skulk there? Yes. So that does trigger, and it triggered again, and it triggered again. Is it the lava flowing that's triggering that, or is it me moving that's triggering that? I think it was me moving. I just moved again. Let's jump. Yes. And then that should take it away. Now we can use a calibrated skulk sensor to detect a specific sound. And there's a bunch of things you could do. You can do like taking damage or certain mob sounds. The problem is, I think you need... I'm going to fall off here so that I don't trigger it. Did I just trigger it? I think I did. So I think with this, you need signal going into the side of it. That's the specific redstone signal. So I would need a lectern with a book in it, then a comparator, then this. And I'm worried that that will just take up too much space there. I feel like it almost might be more fun to just have any sound trigger it. Because if we fire like an arrow here, so that did detect it. We could almost have like the arrow have to land in here. It doesn't have to land in here, but we could say to Zedaf that he's got to, you know, shoot an arrow into the glass up here, and then that will set it off. The problem is if somebody flies past it, I think elytra flight is something that makes sound. So if I fly past here, does that turn it off? Yes. And then we fly past again, it turns it back on. Not the end of the world. As you've seen, it's very easy to cycle between the two things. I do want it to turn off because I want to see what this looks like. Because unfortunately, it's going to stand out quite a lot. The good news is the skulk does match the copper. So one thing that we might be able to do is have some copper up through the center of it. This storage is a mess. Don't judge me. This is going to trigger again. Can you trigger again? Thank you. And then I'm going to take the lava bucket. I think we could use copper in and maybe around this. We could even use wool, actually. So let's say we want Zed to shoot a flaming arrow onto this glass. And it doesn't have to be glass. We could actually, if we're kind of going for that idea where we want something to ignite, we could actually have this be wood. We don't have fire tick on, so there's no worry that the wood would actually break, or burn up rather. So yeah, we could have some wool in the underneath of this, beneath the wood, and then where all this glass is, we have wood. And unfortunately, to get the cascading effect, I think we do need that. But if we had, you know, let's say we're using spruce for this. If we had like something like that, the contrast between that and the dispenser is, it's a lot easier on the eye compared to the difference between glass and dispenser. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think we might use dark oak to make it even closer to this. So we replace all the glass with a dark oak. We replace maybe this circle down here with wool so that if we shoot the underneath, it will not trigger. And then what we will need people to do is shoot all the way up here to land on there and ignite the fire. So I'm thinking logs might be best to use. I think they'll be the nicest kind of woody texture from a distance, especially if, you know, sometimes you see the inside of the log, sometimes you see the side. Adds a bit of variety as well. But then what we might be able to do here is actually add the wool directly underneath. So in theory, and I think we can test this, if we do something like that, I think we need to test it with the lava. It's the only way, it's the only real way to test it. We'll pop that in, we'll fly off, it will trigger. Let me try and turn it off. Did that work? Yes, it worked. And now what I want to know is if I hit the side here, will that be able to pass above where I've put the wool and reach the sculk sensor? So that was good. Let's try a bit higher. That still didn't trigger it. So this looks good to me. That wool is doing its job. Now if we then hit the glass or the wood, there we go. It ignites. And even that glass there worked. I think this works surprisingly well. If you've been following on with this Let's Play, it's rare that the first idea actually works. So I'm glad this turned out well. Again, I need to fly in and get that lava bucket so I can build the rest of this. Now, the more I think about this, the more I am a little bit concerned. Concerned in the sense that, you know, someone may land here, just want to check this out and trigger this and burn themselves. I mean, yes, that would be funny, but, you know, punishing players for investigating things isn't exactly the vibe we want to go for here. So I may actually see if I can get the calibrated sculk sensor to work. I do like how this looks though. It's not too distracting having all that wood up there. And then we hit the wood. I think that technically counts as a miss. Let's give it another go. That was even lower. Did that count as a hit? No, that was definitely the wood. So if we happened to lower it and lower where the wool is, that wouldn't be too much trouble. I'm thinking if we need to use the calibrated sculk sensor, we'll need it to be a bit lower. Is this just not working now? That has to do it. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, I think I do want to look into the calibrated sculk sensors. I think the way these work is you give it a certain signal, which we can do just with... I need some non-stackable things, so let's just do this. That should be a signal of 3. If I just tried to use my pick. Let me take that out. So, oh, a signal of 5. Is that a signal of 3? No, it's a signal of 4. And that's a signal of 2. There we go. It's a signal of 3, you see. So if we then put the calibrated sculk sensor here, this now doesn't get powered. You see, we are making noise. It is not triggering it. But the firework did, so that must be in the category of what this guy can hear. You can't hear dropped items. Can he hear me fire the bow? He can. But what I want to know is, can he hear the arrow? No, that's what I worried. So what this signal strength of 3 does is it detects like the player interacting with something. So like if I drank a potion or threw a snowball or shot an arrow, it detects the shooting of the arrow. But I want something to detect the projectile hitting the wood up there. And looking at the list of things that it detects, I can't really see anything else. Any other way that it would detect an arrow? Because it's not a mob performing an action. It's not a player landing. Like if we change this to a signal of 2 and land, so that is what this is detecting. But it's not going to detect... Ooh. Hold on. Wow. Okay. So if I run around here, I want to make noise. Let's, place some blocks. It doesn't hear that. I think what it heard me then was me falling down a block. So this was almost a solution, wasn't it? Because this is a way to detect an arrow hitting the top of there, but it's also going to detect a player landing on the top of there, which is the one thing, the one reason I want to use the calibrated sculk sensor is to make it safe when players land up there. But unfortunately, these use the same signal. So, okay, that was a bit of a detour. The idea didn't work, but that's fine. We maybe learnt some things. It is interesting that you can actually detect the arrow, though. So that's something I'll have to remember for the future. But yeah, for now, I think we'll stick to what we've done here. And I might have made this too difficult. We'll turn it off. There we go. And then I will probably just advise that people don't go near it. I might put a warning sign down here or something like that. Yeah, I think that's a fun way to do it. I might actually encourage Zed to do it from the gold one. You get a bit of a better view from here. Maybe we'll have the players all down in the square down here, or maybe the players can be prepared on the other podiums. But then Zed will shoot the arrow, miss a couple times, and then hit. And there we go. So it works. It looks okay. I'm quite pleased with it. The only concern is that it's a little bit dangerous. But the gaming district is quite dangerous anyway. A few days have passed now. We successfully ran the event at the weekend, and I have continued adding to the hub area. I would say it's mostly completed now, so I'd like to take you on a tour through the area. To begin with, we finally have the rules up and the notice board. I'm not 100% convinced by this, but it does stand out. And here's an idea of how it can be used. I've just written an idea here that I'd like people to see. I'd like people to be talking about this. I may also pop some of the newer games that people might not be aware of on this board as well. And of course, the next time we run an event, we will pop it on here as well. And the rules, I won't go through these, but basically on the server we have a number of, I would say, very important rules that we want the players to follow. And now, from the view back here, you may be noticing a lot of these balloons. And I've actually created a key over here so that people can use the balloons to find what they want to find. So like here, you can see the brown balloon is for the rules. And as you can see, we do have some brown balloons here around the rules. Now, obviously, everybody's going to be able to find the rules. That's not too difficult. But this square area is quite a large area. And there's 6 different buildings. And it's, you can't just glance at that building and know what the building is for. So to save people having to explore, they can come here, they can see, the purple building is for the lockers. Maybe there's a team event and they can see the yellow building as for team events. They look over here, they can spot the yellow balloons and head there. So I'm hoping that will be quite a intuitive way for people to find what they want to find here in the district. And as mentioned before, we've got the community storage, the gift shop, and the museum as well. I didn't really know how to label the admin building. I don't want it to be like, do not go near here. So I figured just leaving it blank like this is maybe a little bit mysterious. But if we continue up here, you'll be able to see I've also added a lot of lighting to this main hub area, as well as these kind of lampposts. These went through about 18 different designs, and I'm still not pleased with them, but they kind of do the job. Originally, I had lampposts going up here, and then wires kind of connecting between them with banners, but I much prefer having the balloons here rather than the banners. I might put a screenshot on screen of what it looked like with the banners. I wasn't recording that, but yeah, I was not too pleased with how that worked. Yeah, some of the builds now have some interiors, so you can see here in the locker area, we actually have lockers as well as event-related storage as well. And the community storage, for example, we've started filling this up. I wasn't too sure how in-depth I wanted to decorate this, because I personally want things to be easy to find. So anywhere like this, where I can have kind of a kitchen area that is hopefully obvious to people that it's food, I think that's a positive. And we have the gift shop, and I did put something here, a kind of commemoration for the event that we just ran. And the museum both now has the bow and arrow used to light the flame, but we also have this little podium area. So what I want to do is get the player heads of the 3 players who came first, second, and third and pop them on this little display. We've done similar things in previous seasons, and it's just a nice way to remember the events. And the last thing I really want to show here is you may notice a little bit of greenery back here. So I've actually built a couple of custom trees, and I've extended the back of these areas here. So we've got a wall now, so people can't just jump off into the water. And I've extended this area, added some more stone around here, as well as some little details. And then we've got a custom tree in each spot. So I wasn't really sure whether I wanted to kind of extend the stone back here, but I think this works as kind of a little secret spot. There's not going to be anything here that serves a purpose, but if we do use this area for hide and seek and tag games like I originally envisioned, spots like this will be perfect. Technically, we can actually hide in the tree. So if I take off my wings, you can kind of parkour up the stone here. Once you get to here, you can go onto the roof. We have a balloon here, which means we can go even further up. And then once we're up here, we can then jump onto the tree. So how's this for a hiding spot? Imagine I've got no gear on, a green outfit. Nobody is finding me here. Yeah, speaking of the tag and hide and seek idea, I will take my wings off here. And now I just want to show you exactly why I've built things a certain way and how those games may play. So imagine we're playing a game of tag and I am running away from someone. So we can come into this community storage area. We have some little hiding spots like this. So you can imagine this is a cool little hiding spot, but maybe somebody finds me and I need to run away. We can run up the stairs here, and then we have this window that we can jump out of and jump over here. And then look, we have another window, but maybe we want to jump down here, and then we can travel along here. So imagine someone's chasing me. We run up the stairs. We pretend we're going to go in the building, but then we go behind them and we jump over this wall. And then here we can jump into this building again, up the stairs. And this time, let's do this trick. And then we can crawl in this building. And you know, maybe we do go out here and we crawl through. And now we are out of this area. We can come up here. Maybe we go onto the roof this time. And this is where the balloons really come into play. So I wanted the balloons to all be parkourable. Every single balloon that you can see in this area can be jumped on. So for example, we could actually end up in this area here. Now, if I come in, if I crawl through here, we don't actually have a way up here yet. But this is, you know, a potential hiding spot in a hide and seek game. Once someone catches you, you could jump off, you could jump over there, you could jump back onto the balloon and travel one way or the other way. But as you can see with these balloons, we can really travel around. And we can travel to the other side as well. So now let's say we jump and suddenly we're in this building where we started in that building. And now we can extend the trapdoor. If we did have a game like this, I would state in the rules that you can right-click things, you can't break anything, you can't place anything, but you can right-click things. And one thing with this building that I want to show is even though this is the admin building, which should actually be sealed there, I did make an entrance here. So I wanted this to be kind of like a stairway up the side, like a fire escape where you can go inside here. We've got another sneaky hiding spot. I still want to add a few more things like that around the area. And then there's a sneaky spot here where you can actually go along the trapdoors here and then up onto the roof. So again, you know, imagine someone was chasing me from the street. I've managed to climb up 3 levels of this building and get onto this roof. And now I have escaped. And we can jump onto these balloons. From here, you can see we've got quite a few places we can jump. Maybe we want to actually jump back here and go back here. Maybe we go into the building here, or we pretend we're going into the building, but then we come around here. And I think by now you get the kind of idea I'm going for here. I do think some kind of hide and seek or tag game, probably a combination of both. I think I mentioned this before, but I've been watching a lot of Mario Odyssey hide and seek games where the moment someone's found, they need to be touched in order to get them out. So this can mean that you find a hiding spot, but you also have... Oh, I fell. But you also have chase sequences where somebody is trying to escape and find a new hiding spot, all while other people are trying to catch them. And if you imagine there's, 2 or 3 people trying to chase you, you really need to think about the path that you take and where you go. And it may be very difficult to hide from people, but imagine somebody falls down here whilst I was jumping around here. So I can now go back on myself, travel to the other side nice and quickly. Maybe we try and get on the roof here. Can we get on the roof? Yep. And now, once again, we have escaped. We can go up to this roof here as well. Maybe we try and go on this balloon. Now we're back to where we got to before, where we can maybe come around here and jump onto this tree. And then someone spots me and I jump over here and then jump down and then we try and escape and jump over people. The whole point of this area is movement should be fun. Even if we're not doing like a hide and seek thing, if we're just waiting for an event to start or we're waiting for some games to finish and there's 12 people just stood waiting around, I want this place to just be fun to explore. Fun to explore, fun to jump around. I may hide some secrets and do like an Easter egg hunt or something here. But yeah, the kind of the vision of this place has really come together. This is what I wanted. I wanted practical buildings. I wanted a nice open area. I've put a lot of effort into not obscuring the view of the podiums. So no matter where you are in this square, the focus is still on here. And the flame still has a bit of focus. There's some balloons in front, but it still has a bit of focus. But yeah, having this practical area, this open area, and making it fun, those are kind of the 3 tick boxes I was going for. So I'm very satisfied with what we've got here. So I do think that's it for building this area in this episode. Let's go check on some Colourlympics results. I'm going to do something a little different with the graphics this time round. So here we have the leaderboard as of the end of the last episode. This will update as we go through each event. And the first event for today is the Creeper Farm. Red manages to win this event for the second time. They have incredibly never not been on the podium in all 4 of these Creeper Farm events. Blue picks up second, and our league leaders Yellow manage third to keep them in the lead. Next up, we have the Cactus Farm scores. As always, this one was very close, but Green managed to secure the win. Pink and Blue tied for second, which puts Blue in the overall first position and Pink up into third. But will they be able to hold on to it? The Wool Farm is a great and useful farm, so this has featured in 6 different episodes. The only team not to finish on the podium so far is the Blue team, so let's see how they fare. Pink wins this event for the second time, and Purple and Red both get their second podium finish in this event. That means Pink leaps up all the way to joint first, and Yellow, our leaders at the beginning, fall down to third, but it's all very close. This is our 3rd sugarcane farm event of the season, and for the second time in a row, the leader has been well ahead of the pack. This time, Green takes that position and gets the gold. Orange comfortably gets silver, and Cyan and Yellow both share bronze. Before this, Cyan finished 7th, 8th and 8th in today's events, so they'll be very pleased to have managed to squeeze in a podium finish at the end. And there you have it. Here's the final leaderboard after today's events. This event really helped level things out at the top, and things are looking very exciting. Green have been at the bottom after basically every episode, but with today's 2 gold medals, they are suddenly 4 points off the leaders. Sadly, the other 2 teams at the bottom, Purple and Cyan, are still really struggling. Now, let's head on over to the Connections game. And here's the puzzle from the last episode. There's some fun and interesting things in here. To start with, let's pick the weirdest thing. Whoops. Now, some of you may be seeing this thinking, what on earth is that? This is actually the sound that an Enderman makes. So if you've ever used the subtitles, you will recognise whoops, groans, rattles, and neighs as things that Endermen, zombies, skeletons, and horses will make, the sounds that they make. And we do have some mobs in here as well, and cats, wolves, zombies, and armadillos can all make other mobs flee. Next up, we have chirp. I did put this in here because it sounds like a mob sound, but these are actually music discs. And then we are left with 4 quite odd things here that don't seem to go together, but if you looked into it, you would find out that these are all ways to get feathers. So when you sleep, a cat can give you a gift, and one of those gifts is a feather. You can find feathers in Fletcher's chests. Obviously, parrots drop feathers, and shipwreck chests also have feathers. And here is today's puzzle. As always, there will be a link to this in the description below. Please do give it a try, and I hope you have fun with it. So the clues for this one, we have brush, warped fungus on a stick, boat, evoker conversion spell, specific name tag, horse, dies, banner, bed, carpet, elytra, minecart, carrot on a stick, painting, shears, and flint and steel. Good luck to you all. So here we are back in the Minigames hub for the outro. I thought I'd just show you what it's like without shaders, because I realised I had shaders on the whole episode. I'm still very pleased with how this looks. Now, I do really want to start working on minigames, so I think the next episode I will go through some of my minigame ideas. Now, I do really want to start working on minigames, so I think next episode I will actually talk through some of my game ideas so that we can actually start working on some in-game. Because I've got a lot of ideas piling up, and I haven't been doing much with them other than, writing notes about them. So yeah, hopefully that sounds like it will be a fun episode. Oh, there we go. But that's it for this one. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.